Alright, today I'm working on this 2008 Ford Escape, and got to do the inner tie rod ends. There's some clunking when you turn it, so already kind of looked around. I guess I've looked on this side, the driver's side. I'm going to look on this side now and go and record it, but there's a little trick to taking these off. It's pretty much all the same with the outer tie rod end. It's just the inners are a little different. So I've already got it jacked up on jack stands, and we'll go ahead and get going on it. You guys can hear that. I'm gonna try it, see if you can hear it. So it's coming up from right up there in the inner tie rod. So after the wheel's off, I'm going to, let's see if I can get up in here better. I'm going to spray the outer tie rod nut here with some PB Blaster. Let that sit for a second, crack that loose, and then get the outer tie rod end off. So I'll start there. Alright, not sure if you noticed, but as I was trying to take that nut off, this whole inner tie rod's spinning. So basically what was happening was it was basically adjusting my alignment and pushing this outer tie rod out. So I'm going to tighten it back up because you want to count how many rotations you bring it out. That way you know when you put the new one on and put this outer back on, you can at least get a rough ballpark on where your alignment was at. You should still get an alignment after this. Whenever you adjust anything with your suspension or anything, you should do that. So I'm going to count how many rotations out, and then we can move on to the next part. So. Alright, so here's your boot. I've got a long set of needle nose pliers here. You actually don't need that. You don't need to get these. It's just what I grabbed, but this is just kind of like a normal clamp, your outside one. There we go. So now this outside boot's loose, but your inside, the clamp for that, which, let me show you the other one. So this is what they look like. You just have to put a screwdriver right up into here and hit it out with the hammer, and it'll break loose, and then you can pull this out. And then this is pretty much garbage. In fact, I'll throw it away now that I have it. tie rod is fully exposed, so let me go look at the other one and we can see how this tool works. Here is the tool you'll need if you have the flat inner tie rods. So here's the inner tie rod, and there's no grooves in here. Normally you have some grooves, and so here's your normal tie rod tool, or inner tie rod tool I should say, and this fits over like this, and then these lips right here grab onto the flat part that's on your inner tie rod. Well, these ones don't have that. So like I said, here's the tool I got it at Advance Auto. Hopefully you can see the part number there, 25296. But it's just this little tool right here. That's all it looks like. And all you essentially do is you set the tie rod in there, right here, and then you tighten the 2 bolts on the bottom until it's all snug up against the old tie rod. And then you stick your wrench in here and you just turn counterclockwise until it pops off. I was having issues doing the wrench, so I used an impact socket and was just kind of careful, and it cracked right loose. So we'll move on to the next part here, which is getting this on the other inner tie rod, the one that's not off the escape here, and hopefully get this thing off pretty quick. Alright, got the new part. I got a Master Pro, which is the cheaper brand. I think it's actually O'Reilly's in-house brand. But here's the part number, EV800769. Now this is the passenger side. They actually ordered me 2 of these, so I actually need to get the right one for the driver's side. But since we were working on the passenger side, this will work okay for now. So anyways, I got the other one out here, out of the box already. And here, I'll show. So this one has the little lip on it, so you can take your normal tool. So here's the end, and it'll slide right over there like that, and then you can twist it on. So all we have to do is we can thread it on by hand though at first. Whoop. Almost lost you there. Alright. So there we go. Then we got to put the boot back on, don't forget this. And then since we damaged that inner clamp, which is what you got to do to get it off, but since we took that off, you can either put just like a normal hose clamp over this, which is what I normally do, or you can even do a zip tie. I've seen people do that, and it seems to hold okay. I mean, you got to remember, this really isn't doing anything but sitting there and just protecting from dust and crap off your motor, you know. So Not a huge deal, but you do want to clamp something so it doesn't slide off, because once grease and stuff gets down in there, and I'm saying like, you know, the crap that just your motor has, oil, whatever, gets down inside this boot, it'll start wearing on the tie rod end. And so you want to make sure this is on there good. So I'm going to slide this back on and over. And then I'm going to put the outer clamp back on. Here's the old tie rod end. I mean, it's actually in pretty decent shape, but if it was my car, I'd probably just replace this too for a few bucks. But since it's in pretty good working order, there's no play or anything in it, I'm just going to reuse it in this case. So when I took it off, after that diesel truck goes by, after I took this off, I counted the revolutions and it was 26. So I'm going to do 26 back. Oh, before we get too far, maybe get the bolt real quick. Alright, back. Almost forgot it. In this tie rod came with a new locking nut here, or whatever, the little tightening nut for the outer tie rod end. So I'm gonna throw this on. Okay. I'm going to tighten the tie rod back up, 26 revolutions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 26. Before I tighten that nut up all the way, I'm going to put the nut back on the bottom of the outer tie rod end. So that. I'm going to first clean up the threads on this outer ball joint, but essentially that's all you got to do to put it all back together. Just get this back through. I'm going to put some PV Blaster, clean this up with a wire brush, and then I'm going to get this threaded back on there, and then pretty much you're done. I guess you guys don't have to see that, so just make sure, again, I haven't done it yet, but use a zip tie or something to tighten up that inner boot, and that's it. Not too bad. Any kind of, all you need is just normal tools for this job. So if you just got basic mechanic experience, this shouldn't be bad at all for you. So there you go, air compressor. But if you got any questions, throw them down in the comments, and I'll try to answer them if I can. Thanks. All right, I was going to end the video, but I wanted to come back and explain what at least I was just told. So before I was talking about how the inner tie rod was actually thicker on the driver's side than the one on the passenger, and I was told from the auto parts store that they're both the same size. So my guess is I've got one of two options. One, somebody's replaced these once before and they used a different one for the driver's side than on the passenger, or two, the auto parts store told me the wrong thing, which wouldn't be the first time. But so that part number I'd given you before right here, and again, this is like O'Reilly's house brand, I think, so this did work for both sides. It looked fine, but I did go ahead, because of the different size of the inner tie rod end, I went ahead, I had to get a new outer tie rod end for the driver's side. So I said, you know, you're gonna do one, might as well do both. So I still got to put the greaser on that, but so anyways, just didn't want to leave it with you know, if that is the case where they're both the same size, I don't want to leave this video as you know, one side's different than the other. So anyways, that's it. Let me know though if you guys think that's different, or if you guys do some research and you know, find out maybe your auto parts store is telling you no, they are different sizes. Well, then we know that that's actually not the case of what I was told. So anyways, that's it. Thanks for watching.